Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be here. I spent 37 years nearly in the army, and I've left the army about 3 weeks back. Now, I'm between jobs. What I did in the army was basically product support. I belong to one of the largest MRO organizations anywhere, which is the core of electronics and mechanical engineering. And in my last 3 years in Army headquarters, I looked after product support of everything except aviation assets of the Army and vehicles. The rest I looked after. Also, which gave me a very deep insight into industry, I looked after the indigenization, and we have raised the Directorate of Indigenization in the Army. Many of you I have met in those such seminars where I spoke about Make in India and defense. So what I'm going to briefly touch upon is 2+5 formula, 2+5 formula, which I've coined for this conference. 2 facilitators and 5 business opportunities, mainly in the SME sector. Of course, SMEs reflect the orders fulfillment of the OEMs. So let me take on that space. Now, what are these 2 facilitators I'm talking about? The 2 of them, collaboration and outreach. Now, the last session, Chair and I think Mr. Baveja covered very nicely the aspects of collaboration. Now, let me elaborate this collaboration. There has been a tremendous change. The Army was a black box. In the last 3-4 years, this has changed. Now, this has changed in, I'll take 2 examples. Firstly, the collaboration which we are doing, one of the weapon platforms which we've got, foreign weapon platform, it had to be upgraded. Now, collaboration with private industry, DPSUs, and most important, the users is happening. Now, part of it is supplied, the major items to be fitted are supplied by a foreign OEM. Bell is an integrator. The MRO organization, which I belong to, the base workshop is doing part. There's a work share and a financial arrangement and an agreement, MOU. And then the user is cutting across all the 3 stakeholders and sitting everywhere. So you see, this is the ecosystem of the future. When we talk about weapon platforms, and all of you are learned here who know that a weapon platform lasts for 35 to 40, even 50 years. The Challenger tank, the T-72s, the other big weapon platforms are going to last. Air Force, so of course, I'm going to touch only upon the Army. Now, that is the collaboration part of it. Also, in the collaboration space, there is now a space opening up. Since I have taken this example, there is this place where the Army, MRO organization, Army as such, can enter into a joint collaboration with private industry in this MRO space. And there is a huge market, because you see, you sell an item, it takes about 10 years, the whole process, but we live with it for 40 to 50 years. That's the very big business opportunity what needs to be tapped. And here I would say that this addresses the theme of this session, which is defense perspectives. The perspectives of business, my 2+5 formula, the 5 will be the perspectives, and this collaboration can be done very nicely if there is a very good, robust ecosystem, which by definition is a cluster. The second facilitator, which I spoke about, was the outreach. Now, this is extremely important. I'll again start with an example over here. In the indigenization process which we're headed, we realized when we float RFPs, it is meaningless, absolutely, to industry. It is our perception, what we like, we were doing. So we reversed the whole thing. What we did, and many of you have attended these indigenization subcommittee meetings, we called it. In Bangalore, we had a successful one, in Pune, all over the country. We laid out what we want to indigenize, where sub-assemblies, parts, components, whatever was troubling us in the MRO aspects of it, we laid it on tables. We invited industry, specific industry. We teamed up with ACMA, CII, LCNA and everybody else. And those people came and saw what it is. And they told us, we can take this, we can manufacture it, or this is too low-key for us. Based on that, we did the RFP. So that was the outreach program and how we changed the things, and then the RFPs. The largest, one of the largest revenue projects upgradation is for the BMP-2, the infantry combat vehicle, which is now in starting. The work will be starting with 6, I think, companies have been given the go ahead for that. It's a game changer, how we went about it, and that RFP was driven by industry. We talked to the big 5, big 6 vehicle manufacturers. They came who were interested, and they told us. So this was the outreach and the collaboration which I spoke about. Now, what are these briefly, the business opportunities? The Q&A can take on more. The first aspect is that we have got a system of factory repairs. Now, as I said, the weapons platform lasts 4 to 5 decades. We can enter into a back-to-back arrangement for factory repairs, which is substantial and which will keep industry growing. The second part is AMC. Now, AMC is a drain on the revenue budget, and since we have an in-house agency, this is a space which is going to shrink. But there is scope. The problem here is that most of our equipment is deployed on the borders. And when a company comes and says, we'll give you AMC right to the borders, it's more in words than in action. The third thing I want to talk about is upgrades. Now, upgrades are going to happen. Unplanned upgrades have happened. The Army has corrected its stance in many ways. So upgrades are happening. Foreign companies are offloading the work to Indian companies. There's some very good examples of this. And they're carrying out these upgrades not in the base workshop or factories, but right in the field. So you see the collaboration aspect is going and creating business opportunities. The fourth aspect is platform electronics. The fitment, part of the upgrades, but these are new fitments on existing weapon platforms. And these have to be done by Indian companies. For many reasons, security is one of them. And the last part, which is a new venture which is starting. As I was leaving the Army, we had initiated this, Bell being front end, one of our main suppliers of electronic equipment, obsolescence management. Now, nobody's thought about this. The way the Americans do it is that the Americans have a program manager for a weapon platform, and that small team takes care of obsolescence management. This is a huge business opportunity here, because in the design stage itself, the development and design stage, obsolescence management aspects have to be taken care of. So this is my 2.5 formula. We can take on more in the Q&A session. Thank you very much.